Hello, my name is Tom Wilson, and welcome to session 5 of the series, How to Create the Life You Want. As you know, this is based on my book, Next Stage, and I hope you have enjoyed this earlier sessions. If this is your first one, welcome. You've got a lot of material to cover. Today's session is a very important one. Perhaps of all the things that I've talked about with people, the one area that they feel the most afraid about and the most concerned about is their health. We all know that this stage of life, as we're approaching this next reinventing adulthood stage, we know what lies ahead. And, nobody comes out of this alive. Therefore, we have perhaps the next 10, 20, 30 years of useful, healthy, hopefully, and productive life. It's a chance for us to do the things we've been wanting to do all our life and to create, as I said, the life you want. Now, what's essential is that you're healthy to do that. And there are many things that we can do to be healthy. Now, you'll hear me talk a lot about this as we go into the details of this presentation today, but health is very important. And while when we were younger, we were perhaps not as rigorous or didn't pay as much attention to some of the things, as we age, as we get older, and this old machine starts to do its thing, there are certain things you now need to pay attention to. And so what we're going to cover today are some of the things that I have found in my research that are the most important and in some ways the simplest to do, because it's those simple things that we do to change the way we are so that we're a little bit healthier each day. So session 5, health. Remember, this is part of our series, How to Create the Life You Want. As we discussed these 5 questions, we're working through each one. We're now on number 4. And each one of these are things that people have needed to deal with as they approach this next stage of their life. So today's session is, how do you stay healthy? We're going to look at those things you can do to improve or remain healthy. As you will hear me say shortly, health is like an infrastructure in life. It's hard to really appreciate it until you realize how your health enables you to do or not do the things that you want. It's easy to take health for granted until something happens that causes you to fear or be unable to do some of the things that you've done. Perhaps all of the questions that we've looked at in my book, this one creates the greatest anxiety, as I said earlier. And therefore, it's really important for us to look at this issue in some level of depth. There may be some things as we go into this session that you already know. There's certain things about diet or exercise or whatever that you do know. And so just hear those as being to reinforce the critical points. There may be a few tidbits in here that you did not know or did not know not know their importance. So let's get started. As I said in my intro, health is like an infrastructure. Well, we're neither healthy or unhealthy. We actually exist on some form of continuum, if you will. And we all have physical challenges. We all have something. Some of us, by the way, have a lot more than others. And some of us are healthier for a variety of reasons than others. But these conditions often define what we can and cannot do to some degree. The challenge, therefore, is to look at those behaviors that actually increase or decrease your health conditions, both for you now and for the future. So it's things that you can do, even as little things you can do, will actually move you further to the right, to a healthier state. That's what we're looking for. Now, we don't know how long we're going to last on this planet. Life expectancy in the United States is 78.8 years, but it's different for men and women. But there's research that also indicates that if you get to age 60, which probably those here watching are, you're most likely to live to your mid-80s. And also, when somebody said, if you get older, the chances of your living longer actually increases. Did you know that the number of people turning 100 is increasing by over 1,000%? It's fascinating. It's also fascinating that the research on genetics indicates that your DNA, your wiring, your genetics, if you will, counts for about 25% of your longevity, and 75% of your longevity is based on what you do and where you live. So for the most part, you can determine your own health. So in this session, we're going to look at things that you can do to improve your health in 3 critical areas: your diet, you are what you eat, exercise, don't just sit there, do something, and something personal. Just help yourself. What you can do to help make yourself a little healthier and a little happier. So let's start with diet. Food is fundamental to our health and well-being. This table shows that the U.S. government's guidelines on your daily calorie intake. It's based on your age and your level of activity. How much you exercise, how much do you exercise on a normal day? This will help determine the amount of calories that you can consume and remain healthy. But as you know, there is more to this. That it's not just about the calorie intake, but it's the kind of diet that you have. That you want to create a diet that is something that truly feeds you. So let's look at diet and some things we've learned. Your diet should be mainly made of fruits and vegetables, and that is 7 to 8 servings per day. Protein, those like things we receive from meats, should not exceed about 10% of your total calories. In our society, it's closer to 30 to 40% in terms of your calories. And the task now is to keep it under 30% in that 10 to 30% range. So it's important to minimize the consumption of salt and sugar, especially. Unfortunately, these are usually included in many processed foods or when you eat at a restaurant. Many times the restaurants are more interested in your satisfaction than in your health. There are 2 wonderful diets that have been really shown to be of significant benefit: the Mediterranean and the Blue Zone diet. Now they're highly similar, and the Mediterranean diet is quite well known and very well documented. The Blue Zone is something that you may not know about that you might want to research. It was based on a research study done by Dan Buettner on the behaviors of people in zones around the world that live the longest. So what they did is they identified there were 5 areas on the planet where a great number of them are living healthy, happy, over 100. And they wanted to understand, why was that happening? What was it about their life that actually created that? They looked at their diet, their exercise, their relationships, many of the things we've been covering. So if you're interested in that topic, take a look at the Blue Zone diets and take a look at the Blue Zone Project. You can just Google it. And their recommended diet is very similar to the Mediterranean diet, which has been shown in lots of research studies to be a great benefit to you. A lot of these diets come and go in fad. These 2 have remained in terms of stalwarts of good guides for us. A last point I want to make is that there's a process called intermittent fasting. And this is quite simple. And it's a simple way to lose 5 or 10% of your body fat. So it says it's not talking about what you eat, but when you eat. If you restrict when you eat to an 8-hour period, say from between, 10 a.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. in the evening, this leaves the body time to process foods and to do other repairs and healthy things that will strengthen the body. So intermittent fasting, while some people may take, a day, a month, or things of that nature, also if you look during the day itself, there has been some fascinating research that says if you do exercises and things that promote your body chemistry before you have breakfast, that uses what you had eaten the day before, and it helps to utilize and burn those calories. So then when you replenish your food, it actually has a chance to work and process. So it's fascinating to look at intermittent fasting. And I encourage, this is a very simple way to things you can do to strengthen your health and your diet. There's much, much more about diets in my book, and readily accessible in lots of sources. I encourage you to look at the research and the ones that are well documented, because there are a lot of fads out there. And many of them are helpful for a little while, but they will prove themselves not to be really meaningful. But it's important that you take hold of your diet, because after all, you are what you eat. Now, exercise. Don't just sit there, do something. Now, we all know that exercise is critical to our health. This is not new information. Research has shown that regular exercises reduce the risk of dementia by as much as 50%. Now, here's some things you can do to incorporate exercise into your daily living. First of all, this table shows the heart rate target range that you should shoot for when you do your exercises. And there are lots of ways you can measure your phones and their devices that will help you track what your heart rate is. But based on your age, you should try to reach that level of your heart rate exercise at least 3 to 5 times per week. And get the heart racing in this case, between 128, 136, at least within that target range, 3 to 5 times a week for a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. Second, there are efficient ways to incorporate exercise and to do things that can really help to promote what you're doing. 20 to 30 minutes per week, sorry. There's a concept in exercising where you do, it's called an interval period. Let's say you're walking your dog. Let's say you're out walking with a friend or a spouse. And after walking about 8 minutes, all of a sudden, double your rate. You don't have to jog necessarily, but really pump it up. If you're on an exercise cycle or something of that nature, elliptical, after about 8 minutes, kick it up, only for about 30, 45, maybe 60 seconds, until you just really pump it up to get your heart racing, and then you drop back down to your normal rate, whatever that is. And then after another 8 minutes, you do it again. And after another 8 minutes, you do it again. So this means that if you end up doing it over a 30-minute period of time, during 3 of those points, you really pumped your heart rate to really get it going. That's interval training and interval period. It has a substantial impact on your cardio without taking more time. The third thing you can do is remember strengthening exercises. Now, these can be done with weights or other particular programs that add to your muscle mass. I hate to say this, but as we age, our muscle mass will decline. It makes us more vulnerable. It makes us less stable, and we have less balance. Exercises that strengthen your muscles through weights and other types of exercises, both that has a substantial benefit to you in terms of you both physically and frankly mentally. So add strengthening exercises to your work routine as opposed to just doing cardio. Finally, focus on stretching and balancing. Now, there's amazing benefits that these additional things could add to your exercises. Now, this may be through yoga, or Tai Chi, or other exercise programs. These are ways in which you can add balance and stretching to your exercises. This rounds out your cardio, your weights, your stretching, your balance, provides a substantial benefit for your health and for your well-being. And shooting to do this a little bit every day, maybe focus on it every day, and then maybe you end up doing 5 days a week, and that's okay. If you do very little now, start with 2 days a week, and then expand it to 3, and expand to 4. The benefits to you for your health will be amazing. Do something for yourself. Just help yourself. One final area that's often overlooked in most of the recommendations about staying healthy is to do something that's especially for you, something that you enjoy, that brings you peace, brings you joy, brings you a sense of importance and value. So here's a list of some things that are described in my book, and there are a lot more in the book, but these are some of my personal favorites. So I'll indicate some of them to you because I think you should, and you can read this list as well as I can. So I'm going to highlight a couple of points that come through this. It's very important for your health and for your well-being to find ways to reduce stress. Now, when we were in our working careers and we were younger, stress was actually, in some ways, that kind of got us going, particularly if it was a positive stress. We were engaged, we were doing things. Stress that was negative, that was fearful, based on fear, that is not a healthy stress. Important to look at stress as a way that helps you to become um, a great center in your life. So many people who live these active lives find stress really important. So our challenge here is doing it in a way that gives you joy, gives you something. And in all regards, it's important to pause for a moment, for a small, essential time to reflect, to relax, to remember what brings you joy. Even if that's just a few minutes a day, it could be when you're going to bed at night. It could be when you pause in the middle of the afternoon. At some time, that kind of reflection where you begin to think of mindfulness, meditation, reducing stress. These are the things that will help you here. This will do much for your brain, your blood flow, and your oral health. The second thing I think is important to indicate here is that it's really critical to boost your immune system. Your immune system is a phenomenal feature of the human body. Vitamins can help do this. Exercise does this. Taking care of when you need antibiotics to replace the bacteria that's removed. You need ways to understand how to boost your immune system. Study ways to do this. You know that scientists are finding that one's immune system can do much to cure most of most of the illnesses that we face today, including cancer. A lot of the treatment theories and a lot of the vaccines shooting to address this issue of the vaccine of the pandemic, the COVID-19, is to do things that boost your immune system. This is using your body's chemistry to fight things that will cause you harm. Another thing that is captured in terms of laughing more and other things, is to have fun, laugh a lot. Having fun and humor are amazing drivers of health and well-being. Having a positive outlook and appreciation of life will change the chemistry within your brain and create ways for you to heal yourself. So the bottom line is that your health will determine whether or not you will be able to do the things that you want and for how long. While you don't totally control your health, attention to your healthy habits can give you more of what you want from your daily life. This is in your control. This is something you can do for yourself, and you do it for yourself and for those who are important to you. So an exercise for you to do as you follow this is to take a look at this worksheet. If you look at the things I've indicated about eating habits, your exercise routines, and doing something for yourself, take a look at what you do now. What are the things that you want to keep doing that's helping you to make you healthier in what you eat, the exercises that you go through, and things that you do to take care of yourself? What are some things that you want to keep doing what you're doing now? What are some things in each of those areas that you want to start doing or do more of? Let's say you're doing exercises maybe 1 day or 2 days a week. What now you want to look at doing more of it, maybe a 3-day a week, add a third day to that, or a fourth day. Or maybe certain things that when you take time to pause and reflect, you only do it sporadically. Maybe you look at trying to do that every Monday or every Friday or every Sunday. What are some things you want to start doing or do more of? What are some things you want to stop doing or do less of? It's very important. There's certain habitual habits that we have that are unhealthy, to decrease them. There's lots of talk about smoking and drugs and alcohol and things that can be very difficult and on the body. There's certain things that, frankly, at this time, it's just time to stop or to do less of them and seek help if you need it, because help be important. So here's a homework assignment for you as we go through our work together. Take a look at the things you do in terms of your promoting your health, your eating habits, your exercise, and things that you do for yourself. And what is it in each of those areas that you want to keep doing, start doing, or do more of, stop doing, or do less of? So this concludes our 5th session. Because again, here's the outline. This is where we're going. This is where we've been. We've looked at our sense of purpose. We've looked at our financial conditions. We've looked at relationships. And now we've looked at health. These are important things. The next session, we'll be looking at your identity. In other words, who are you now? How do you answer the question when somebody asks you, so what do you do now? You say you're retired, or you say something different? We're going to spend some time with that, and we'll have some fun with it. So once again, I hope you've enjoyed this session. I hope you've learned something. I bet there's many things in here you already know, and that's okay, because I'm trying to reinforce certain things that are really good, healthy habits, things that you should start doing and do more of. It's just that simple, obviously. And you know something? It's just that important, because we will be facing more challenges in our health. So we need to do those things that actually increase our healthy habits to give us a healthier life. And the reason, you just look around. There are friends among you. There are things you want to do in your life that it's really important to be healthy to do that. So I wish you a healthy day, a fun, and do one thing today that's on that list to make that will help you either start doing, increase what you're doing, or do less of. Because frankly, your health is that important. So I thank you. I will see you for the next session. Again, if you need to reach me, you can go to my website, which is mynextstage.org, or you can reach me on email at tom@mynextstage.org. Send me an email. I would love to hear from you, what questions you may have, what experiences you've had, or anything that would be helpful. Take care. Have a great day.